Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, and head coach Scott Langer joining me as usual. Coach, a third of the way break. You get a weekend off. The guys get to do a little, spend a little time with family and so on. Maybe even have a little early Thanksgiving or whatever it was. But now you're back to it. So let's start first. You mentioned last week that you were going to practice like a normal schedule until Wednesday, and then the guys would get some time off. What did that mean for you guys as coaches? Did it change anything, or were you kind of putting in the same work, same video, same all of those sorts of things?
Well, there was Zach went to Detroit to put some scouting miles on, which was really good for him. The more he's in the rink, the better. And having to set our eyes on that Tier 1 Elite program was big for us. So for me, I got to spend some time with my family, out of town for a little bit, but obviously the work doesn't stop, but it's still nice to be able to spend that time with the kids, and you don't get a lot of those during the course of a hockey season, so I was definitely going to take advantage of it.
Well, did you get a chance to watch games Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
It's kind of a scoreboard watching. I didn't really watch them all that much, but Minot swept St. Cloud. Bismarck splits with North Iowa, getting 304 points on the weekend. So kind of shakes things up a little bit. Austin played Thursday against North Iowa, and then they were off this last weekend as well. So we'll run through the standings here in just a moment. But it's back to normal now. You get the guys back in town yesterday. Here it is, on a Monday, you just kind of jump right into it, even though you've got a Saturday game instead of a Friday-Saturday kind of situation. But, basically it's back to routine now, huh?
Yeah, it is. And this is a little longer week of preparation than we're used to. Usually you have a Monday off and you're playing on Friday. So, we're taking advantage of the full week and getting everything kind of put back in place from having a few days off. But, it was hard today. First day back, it was definitely a practice to get guys refocused and their mind back into what we need to do. So that was good. And then, starting tomorrow, we'll be back into our normal progress through, based on our pre-scout and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, having the one game on Saturday, it's kind of odd, having a Friday off and just practicing on a Friday and then playing Saturday. But I think it's good for some of our injuries to get some guys back. So, it was a good time.
Yeah. Well, since we don't have games to talk about or to kind of break down or go through whatever, I thought last week we talked about a 200-foot player and what a 200-foot player brings to a team, what they are, basically what the definition is. There's been on a handful of occasions this year you've talked about a pure scorer. What's a pure scorer versus a 200-foot player? Are they different in some ways, or is it kind of like what we talked about last week, where you have a player that kind of is specialized?
Yeah, I mean it's. A pure scorer could definitely be a 200-foot player, but a pure goal scorer is a guy just that has a knack for the net, and no matter what he does, he finds a way to put pucks into the net. And those are hard to come by.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to find those guys that whatever they touch seems to go to the back of the net. So they got a knack, and it's tough as a coach. You're obviously out trying to find that, and it's hard to develop it.
I was going to say, is it something that can be learned or taught?
I think everybody can get better at those skills. I'm just not sure that I think you learn to score goals from a very young age, and your brain works a little differently, and your vision is a little different. Some guys tend to really fight scoring goals.
Yeah.
They just can't score goals. But obviously you work on that. You want to score goals, and you want guys to become goal scorers. But the pure goal scorer, those guys are special. They just seem to find a way to put pucks in the net. The Vogel kid that signed a tender with us, I put him in that kind of that category. Who plays for Shakopee, and hopefully we see him here in the fall. But he's a guy that seems like everything he touches ends up in the back of the net.
Glad to hear that. And this is actually kind of along those same lines in a sense. I got to thinking a little bit about how different coaches see the game oftentimes, and not just the game, but players. Like your average fan, it's like, oh, well, I like what he does. This. What are some unnoticed attributes that you guys as coaches, look for that you might see that your typical fan might not? Also, I feel like there must be some kinds of those attributes that get overlooked a lot.
Well, the play without the puck is huge, and the general fan is always watching the play at the puck and what guys are doing and creating.
Right.
But the game is really played 90-something% without the puck.
Sure.
And the players that are good, putting themselves in the positions to support other players, or defensively with good sticks and body position, those are things that coaches just continually look at, because those are the most important parts of the game. But the general fan, they're seeing the guy that makes the pass or the guy that scores the goal or the goalie that makes the save. For us, we track a lot of different stats. Obviously, the shot blocks, the hits, all the energy type stats, and we think those are crucial to a player's development and what he's bringing to the team. But I think when I watch a hockey game on TV, I'm never really watching as a fan. I always want to know what they're doing.
Even if it's the Rangers?
Even if it's the Rangers. I just tend to pick it apart and want to learn and want to see what's going on. So I can constantly look at a hockey game from a learning standpoint, where sometimes I wish I could just turn the game on and just appreciate it as a game and look at it as a general fan. But that's hard to do for me.
Analyzing it all the time, huh? Well, and like I said, I mean, I know that there are things that obviously the typical person doesn't see, but like I said, there's some attributes that probably are a little bit under the radar.
Yeah, you look at some of the things players bring in the locker room or on the bench. There's a lot of value in some of those areas, and they're crucial to having a successful hockey team. So, the general fan sits up in the stands and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there's players that are really special, and their skill is in the locker room with their leadership.
Sure. Good point. Okay, well, again, we went through, kind of what happened over the weekend, but right now in the standings, Austin is at the top of the Central Division with 30 points, Minot with 26, Aberdeen with 23 points in third right now, and then North Iowa also with 23 points, Bismarck with 19, and St. Cloud with 18. Like we talked a little about, Minot had a strong weekend in St. Cloud. Bismarck played well. I think they put 8 on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. 8-1 win there, or maybe that was Saturday night. Either way, they're playing well. And you've got Bismarck coming into the ODI Center, coming up here this Saturday. And Lane's always got his guys ready to go, and there's always a little bit of a extra fire maybe in the building when Bismarck comes to town. What have you seen from the Bobcats on film?
They're a hard-working team. They're a typical Lane Sudbury team where they work really hard. They forecheck hard. They had a good power play. If you're not smart, they're going to hurt you. So, but there's always, obviously the rivalry's there, but they're a good hockey team. They're a team that came in and swept us this year. So, we can't forget about that, and we ought to make sure that we're ready to go. They're going to play their third game of the week against us on Saturday. So, we're going to have our first game. So, with that, you tend to start slow because you haven't been playing. So it's our job as coaches to try to get the best out of them, starting that puck drop Saturday night, and we have to do that through the week of preparation.
Well, again, Bismarck now 8-9-2-1, and as I mentioned just a little while ago, right now sitting just above St. Cloud in 5th. But again, a strong team. Should be a really good night of hockey Saturday night at the ODI Center. Coach, really, that's about all I got for you. I'm glad you had a chance to spend some time with family and get a little downtime, because, like you said, it is hard to come by in the middle of the season, and then it's right back to winning games hopefully here. So thanks for your time as always. Good luck against the Bobcats.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll return with the second portion of Wings Weekly with a player coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all times.
Wings Weekly continues on, and as usual, a player is joining me this time, as we were just talking about, for the third time, Devon Carlstrom of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Thanks so much for taking time. I know, we've been through this a couple of times here, but it's funny because there's a different group of fans each year. There's different people that maybe did see it last year but didn't see it the year before or whatever. So probably going to get some of the same questions, but we'll try to mix it up a little bit too. So thanks for joining us here. Right now, 2 goals, 5 assists, and a big overtime win. Big goal to win in overtime, I should say. That had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's always fun being able to play in OT and having that opportunity, having the coaches trust you. So even scoring is just even more of a positive. So,
what does it change when it's 3-on-3 in overtime? Does it take a little bit of an adjustment to get used to that? I mean, obviously it opens up the ice a heck of a lot more. But when you just get done with 3 periods of 5-on-5 hockey, or generally 5-on-5, does it feel weird to go out there and go 3-on-3?
Yeah, there's a lot more ice, obviously, and at the end of the game, you play a lot. If you already play 20, 25 minutes, so you're pretty tired. You just got to kind of dig deep and obviously make sure they don't score and try to make plays. And there's obviously more ice to do that, so I think it's more fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know it seems like it's a little faster sometimes, but then by the same token, it seems like people are a little more precise maybe, and actually in turns kind of slows it down a little bit. So, I was just talking with Coach about the break here. We're at 20 games. Not all that often or that common for Wings to get a whole weekend off where you guys are able to spend some time away from the rink like that. And I think it sounds like Wednesday was your last practice there. Being from Florida, probably not the easiest to go home and spend a little time. Were you able to?
I was, yeah. I mean, I had to drive to Pierre and then fly to Denver, and then Denver to Fort Lauderdale. But it was good to be home. Good weather.
Yeah.
Got to hang out with my brother and my family, so it was good.
Awesome. Did you get some big meals there too? I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. That was good. I love my mom's cooking.
Well, that's awesome that you got a chance to get away. Because like I said, I know some guys maybe weren't able to because of the short break, if you will. But still,
pretty
awesome.
Fortunate. I was able to get home, so it was good.
Yeah. You recently. There has been an addition on your sweater, getting that letter sewn on there. That I know I hate to say, it's got to feel good, because obviously it does. But that means that to each player, I think that has a little bit of a different meaning. What does it mean to you to be able to have that A on your sweater?
It's obviously a huge honor. Seeing the guys that did it before me, just kind of learning from them, and obviously applying it to the guys here, and just helping out the guys I can in any way. And obviously, it doesn't change too much. Obviously, I'm always going to be doing my best to be a leader, regardless if I had a letter in my jersey or not. But it's just a huge honor. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you mention that, because I've talked to guys over the years that are veterans or whatever. Maybe, like you said, maybe they don't have a letter on their sweater yet or at all. But still, everybody has a role. Everybody has a role of leadership. And, and I always see it on the road too. When we're in a hotel lobby or whatever it might be, there's guys know the ins and outs and the ropes, so to speak. And it's an important part to make sure people feel comfortable and they know the Wings way, so to speak. So very cool, and congratulations on that. I got to ask you, were you surprised by it, or was it sort of like, geez, I've been working hard at this. What am I going to get this? Or was it a little bit of a shock?
I wouldn't say it was much of a shock. I mean, I've always kind of been a natural leader. I was one in high school too. I was an assistant captain in high school. So, I mean, I've been here for 3 years too. An older guy. I mean, I feel like it was just a matter of time before it kind of came on my jersey. So I'm really glad that it happened.
Awesome, and like I said, congratulations. It means a lot for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about your hockey start. I know we've been through this a couple of times, but how old were you when you first got playing, and was there maybe an influence that kind of got you started and kind of helped you foster the love of the sport?
Yeah, I started playing just roller hockey at my roller rink close to my house. It was probably 5 minutes away. I started playing there, and my dad kind of got me into it just from watching him, and he's been my coach growing up and stuff like that. So, and then eventually transitioned to ice when I was probably 5 or 6. And,
okay.
I started from roller hockey, and then my dad's just been with me ever since. So he's been my biggest inspiration and kind of my biggest mentor. So he got me into it.
Did he play himself?
He did. Growing up in Sweden, he played tennis, soccer, and hockey. So he ended up going with tennis, but he played pretty much up until he was 16, and then he played in college too.
Excellent. Okay. So, you mentioned being able to spend some time with your brother. Does he play?
He does. Yeah. He's a goalie. He plays up in Long Island for the Long Island Goals right now. And he was lucky enough to get home too for Thanksgiving, so it was good to see him.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah. You guys end up getting spread out all across the country. Sometimes it seems like.
Yeah.
How about when you're not at the rink? I know I've talked to a handful of guys that they talk about being able to golf, especially early in the fall or late in the spring. Sometimes, are you a golfer?
Huge golfer, yeah. Being from Florida, try to get out every day and play. Play a lot of pickleball too in the summers, fishing. Xbox too, obviously when it's here, when it's cold out and stuff. So
pickleball's blown up.
Yeah.
I watched a statistic the other day that said it's like the fastest growing sport in the country.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Everybody's playing. I started kind of picking it up with my family probably during the pandemic. Around that time, we just never looked back. We've just been playing ever since, and it's a good way for us to bond, and we're really competitive with it, so it's been fun.
Excellent. All right. Now I got asked, just a couple of like personality type questions. What if you mentioned got a chance to have some great meals there prepared by your mom, and say you're on death row, last meal, what's it going to be? What's it look like?
I love sushi and seafood and stuff, so I probably have some sushi, maybe some lobster. I love seafood and sushi.
Great. Okay. Harder and harder to find seafood anymore, it seems like.
Not really in Florida, but kind of in this part of the country.
Well, right, but like I'm thinking like snow crab and stuff like that. They canceled the whole crabbing season. And there's going to be the shortage of it. And I'm like, I love crab. Come on, man. Okay. How about music? You're a guy that is kind of in charge of the speaker during morning skates and different things like that. What's your go-to as far as a genre of music?
I would say like house music right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I love everything. I love country, I love rap, I love rock, like old rock, anything really. But I'd say right now, big into house music and like EDM and stuff like that.
Okay. What about who in this locker room? Who's the best singer? Oh. We know Koskinen probably not the best, although he shocked me with the microphone on the bus one time. But who's got the chops?
That's tough. There's a lot of guys who are good. Aaron, he's got confidence. We'll say he's good, and then I like Walshy. Walshy can rap. Backle's good too. So
interesting. Would not have put Walshy as a rapper for some reason. That just doesn't seem.
I don't know. I just look over and I see him. He likes the music I play. So
nice. Okay. Say 10 years from now, whatever. Maybe hockey's not in the picture anymore for whatever reason. What would you say your dream job is? What do you want to do?
I don't know. Probably something in finance right now, with the crypto and everything kind of where it's at right now. I've always been interested in that. So probably something with stocks or crypto or something like that.
Okay, when you figure crypto stuff out, you let me know, because I can't figure out what the heck that is.
I've always been interested by it, and especially with the recent FTX stuff and learning about all that. I think it's kind of interesting. So,
I mean, where is it? What is it? How does it? Is it digital? It goes away, and now it's stolen, and now there's billions.
It's a lot of stuff. I don't know. That's why I want to learn about it. So, I've been trying to do digging and research, but it's tough. It's really hard to understand.
I don't get it. Okay. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Ooh. Probably say 100 duck-sized horse. Yeah, I think that'd be a little easier. Ducks are scary. This summer on the course, I was just by myself, and there was a family. They're mean, so I turned on a corner, and one just flew right at my cart and was screaming at it. It was scary. I would not want to see a big horse duck. That would be scary.
I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, at least you can kick.
Yeah, I think I could take them around pretty good. Yeah.
But if you had this monster duck, that would be.
I don't like. They're scary. Yeah.
Megan, I see your eyes, your wheels spinning. What's yours going to be? Same.
They're scary. I don't like especially when they're protecting their babies. They can get nasty.
Geese too. Geese.
Yeah, I don't mess with them.
All right. Well, like I said, we've had you on several times, and it's always great to hear how you guys get your start in hockey and so on. But I know again, it's a weird week in a lot of sense to try to get back into things. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like is the most important thing? As a leader, as a veteran, whatever, to kind of regroup these guys and refocus them. Because I got to feel like there'd be some residual effect of being able to go home and whatever. I mean, it's not exactly a switch where you can just flip it on and off and you're focused again. Do you feel like that there's a way to go about getting everybody kind of going on the same routine again? Yeah,
I think just going home is good for everybody, and taking time away from the rink. It's good to let your body rest and come back, fully. Some guys are dealing with nagging injuries and stuff, so that's good for that. But then once we get to the rink, just harp on compete and just do your best to compete and work your hardest, and then everything will fall back into place.
Excellent. Yeah, it's funny, it's obviously a very, very physical game, but there's a lot of mental and emotional components to it too. And like Coach was just saying, Bismarck, you've got them Saturday night. They did not have this weekend off. They're going to be ready to go. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Coach said sometimes you get a slow start when you haven't played in a while or whatever. And Bismarck's going to be ready to go on Saturday. What do you feel like you have to do against Bismarck? And now this is a team like we were talking about early on in the season. They had quite a bit of success against the Wings in this building. What do you feel like are going to be some keys?
I think we've been playing good hockey recently, so just stick what we've been doing. Just playing that physical style and just really playing to our identity. So just keep doing that and competing our hardest, and good things will happen.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, Devon, I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us. I know it gets a little tedious kind of when you have to do this 3 times in the 3 years you've been here, because it's like the same stuff kind of. But I tried to mix it up a little bit this time. But we, as always, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Well, the Wings return to the ice this Saturday, November 26th, to host the Bismarck Bobcats at the ODI Center, like we were just talking about. Saturday, doors open at 5:30, and the puck hits the ice at 7:15. Help us restock the shelves. We'll be collecting non-perishable food items at the game to restock area food pantries after the Thanksgiving holiday. Bring in an item to donate and get a $5 general admission ticket at the door. $15 bar stools are available inside the Automax party deck, and the small birthday suite is open. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 to snag your seat. Fans are invited to stick around after the game for another Danger Von Dempsey's Skate with the Wings. Very few corporate night sponsorships are still available for the 22-23 season. Call Aaron at 380-5852 to see what's left. Your skater can still sign up for Wings clinics with assistant coach Zach Stepan. Visit AberdeenWings.com and click on the Aberdeen Wings Youth Clinics tab for details and dates. Don't forget, you can listen to Wings Weekly via our podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. For all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, Devon Carlstrom, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Thanks for coming on, and again, congratulations on getting that A.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.